All right, everybody, welcome to Math with Grace. Welcome back. Today we are going to look at Geometry Book 1007 at the constructions numbers 1 through 5. Before we start these constructions, I just want to go over a few things. It's best to have a small ruler on hand. It helps us with those nice straight lines. And you're going to need a compass for this section. While the plastic ones work okay, these metal ones work so much better. So my suggestion, if you can, is to get a metal compass. Also, I'm working on a regular sheet of paper here. When you're working in your book, this isn't as big a deal, but depending on what counter surface you're on, you might want to put a notebook or another piece of cardboard underneath, because when you're measuring with your compass and working with your compass, you're going to want to make sure this pin sticks in nice and firm so your compass doesn't slip. All right, so let's get started. First thing first, let's review the use of a compass by drawing a couple circles. What we're going to do is take our compass and measure the length, once I figure out which angle I want to go at here, the length of our line, putting our pin at one point and our pencil at the other, okay? We're going to do circle A at this radius. Now that we have our measurement done, we don't want to change our compass, but then we put our pin into the center of circle A, and with our compass on an angle, we just carefully spin it around. That's what this handy little knob is for at the top. And then we have our circle A with the radius of the line that was shown. So problem 112 gives us quite a bit smaller radius, but we find the circle the same way. We're going to shrink down our compass and start with our point at one end and make it smaller until our pencil is at the other end, right? Then we can simply take that, I believe this was B, we put our pin into B, and with our compass on the slight tilt, we make our circle B with that radius, okay? And the last one was circle C at a bit of a larger radius. So again, we put our pin at one end and we extend our compass this time until our pencil is at the other end of C. Without changing it, we put our pin at the center of where circle C is going to be and make our circle. Nice and easy. Now, mine's a little bit off, but you want to make sure that your lead is at the same length as your pin. That's going to make things a lot easier. Mine's a bit off, but we're working with it today. But if they were the same length, this would be a bit easier. All right, going over that, let's step into construction 1. Construction 1 is creating a line the same length as the line given. The first step that we want to do is take our straight edge and make a line. It does not need to be, we want it to be longer than the line that we're given. But this is going to be our work line, okay? So just like that, we make our straight edge, okay? Then we choose, some people choose to use the very beginning of their line. I don't think it matters. So I'm just gonna put a dot anywhere on that line and label it A, okay? Then with my compass, we're going to measure the length, just like we did with the radius over there, of B segment, okay? We're going to start with our pointer at one end and extend it until our pencil is at the other side. That is the length of our segment AB. Okay, with that being said, we now put our pointer at the dot that we made on our starting line. Okay, and we're just going to make a small arc on where the length of AB would be. Okay, once that's done, we can put a dot where the two lines intersect, and that is our new segment AB. Okay, let's try it again with CD. So again, first things first, we always draw our work line, okay? Then we need to measure our CD. Starting with our pointer at C, I'm gonna shrink my compass until my pencil is at point D. Oh, I forgot to put my dot. Don't forget your dot, okay? Then we put our pointer at the dot we just drew, okay? And we make an arc crossing our work line, okay? We could put a dot at that arc, and that is our point D. We've successfully constructed line segments, construction 1. Okay, that moves us on to construction 2. Construction 2 is creating an angle from a given angle. Okay, here I've drawn angle ABC. Okay, we are going to continue, or not continue, but we're going to make another ABC. I'm going to slide this up here. I've got a new piece of paper. Okay, we are going to make another angle ABC. Just like when we were creating the line, we want to start with a work line. Or when we were creating a segment, we want to start with our work line. Okay, and there it is. We're going to pick a spot for our vertice, which is going to be B. Okay, and we're going to put our spot right there. Any spot along this line is C. Okay, it just goes that direction. We're not trying to make a triangle right now, so we don't need to know how long C is. So anywhere over there, C is fine. What we need to know, though, is how big of an angle we have. How we do that so that our angles can be consistent from what was given to us and what we're drawing is we're going to take our compass and make it kind of small, not as small as it goes, but kind of small. Okay, then we're going to put our pointer at the vertice, okay, the vertex, and we're going to make an arc that crosses both parts of our angle. All right, without changing our compass, we're going to come over to our new construction, putting our pointer at B, and we're going to make an arc as well. We want this one to be a little bit longer because we're not quite sure where it's going to fall. Okay, that's the next step. Once you have that done, we have an arc, an equal arc from B on both drawings. We're going to go back to the original construction and we're going to change our compass to match the length of this arc. So I'm going to put my pointer down here where it crossed BC, and I'm going to either extend or shrink my compass, if you can see that, till it reaches the cross section of BA, which is right about here. Okay. Then without changing my compass, I'm going to come back over here, putting my pointer again at the intersection of BC and making a small arc across the arc that I already drew. All right. Now, just like in treasure hunting, X marks the spot. We are going to put a dot there where those two lines intersect. And then with our straight edge, we can go from B through that dot, and this is A. Okay. We have now constructed an equal angle to the angle that we were given. All right, let's try it again. This construction's a bit different. I've got quite a large angle here. I'm going to drop it down like this. There we go. Okay, and it's a little wonky, but you know what? We're going to make the same angle, but we're going to make it straight. So our work line is going to go this way. All right. We've got our work line. I'm picking this spot for my vertex, which is Y. All right. First step done. Now, again, the next step is to set my compass to a usable distance, okay? Starting at the vertex of Y, we're going to put our point and make our arc that crosses both sides of that angle, okay? Then I'm going to come back to my new work line, again with my pin at Y, and I'm going to make my arc a little bit larger, but it's exact same arc as I have on my original construction, okay? Then the next step, I'm going to put my pin where YZ intersects my arc, just like that, if I can get it in there, all right? And then I'm going to extend my compass until it reaches, or shrink it, depending on how you did it, till it reaches my pencil part where the arc crosses YX. That's the length of my arc, okay? Now, without changing my compass, I come back here to my YZ, okay? And I put in the intersection, my pin in where the intersection point was, and I draw a small arc on the arc that was already there. Again, X marks the spot, and we can put a dot there, and then taking our straight edge from Y to that dot, we now have our X. This angle now is exactly the same as our starting construction. Okay, and there you have construction number 2. For construction 3, we are going to learn how to bisect, which means cut it in half, and a line segment. Okay, so we are going to start off always with just a small line segment. Then our next step is going to be using our compass. We're going to extend it so that our compass, if we put it into point B, is longer than the middle. We don't want it to be in the middle. Oh, I made it work. We don't want it to be in the middle. We don't want it to be all the way at A, but we don't want it to be in the middle. So this piece is longer than the center would be, okay? And what we're going to do here is we're going to make a big arc. We're going to start way down here and basically almost draw half a circle. Okay, we'll start off this way. Once you get comfortable with it, you can make yours smaller if you need to. But we're going to basically make a half a circle. Then, without changing our compass, we're going to put our point now at A and make the same half circle. So both A and B, these half circles, have the same radii, right? We didn't change the compass. All right, simple enough. Okay, where these two lines, or where these two half circles intersect, we can put a dot and a dot. If we use our straight edge to connect those two dots, we now have the median. We have now bisected AB into 2 equal parts. Okay, let's try it again on this line, CD. Now I've changed it and made it vertical, but it shouldn't make a difference, okay? This is too big, so we're going to put our pin at C, and then we're going to shrink our compass down. We don't want it to be that big. But that's about right. Okay, I'm going to make it just a little bit smaller this time, okay? I've made one arc without changing my compass. I'm going to put my pin in at D and make another arc, okay? Again, where these two arcs, intersect, we put some dots. And if you were just looking for the midpoint, you could easily just go like this. Okay, we've bisected that line into 2 equal parts. And that's construction 3. All right. Now, construction 4 is bisecting an angle into 2 equal angles. This one's very similar to what we've been doing, just has its own little flair. So let's get started. We're going to shrink our compass down to a usable size, just like we did on construction 2. Well, and we're going to start at the vertex. Okay, we are going to make a swoosh or an arc across the 2 sides of our angle. Now, from that point, from this step, we're going to make our compass quite a bit bigger. And then from each intersection point on the arc, we're going to put our compass and make a mark, make a small arc. Without changing the compass, you're going to go to the next part, the bottom intersection, and put your pin in and make another arc. Okay, it's a little bit harder to see, but there you can see the X. This is where they cross. If you put a dot where they cross, and then pull out your straight edge from the vertex to that dot is the bisection of that angle. We now have 2 equal angles from one large angle. Let's try it again on this other one. Again, we're going to move our compass to a usable size. Okay, this angle's a bit bigger, so I'm going to use one that's a bit larger. We're going to put our pin at the vertex and make an arc. Okay, then with our compass again, we're going to extend it a ways. And then from each intersection point, we're going to make a small arc. So I'm going to start at the bottom one and just make an arc across the interior of this angle. Without changing my compass, I'm going to put my pin at the top intersection and make another small arc on the interior. Again, they make an X. We put a dot in the X, and with our straight edge from the vertex to our dot, which I missed, oops, but you get the point. We have our bisection of this angle, and that is construction 4. All right, the last one we're going to look at on this video is construction 5. Construction 5 is bisecting an arc. So to do that, we are going to, again, make our compass, like we bisected the line segment, we're going to make our compass a little bit larger than the center where we would predict the center to be of A and B, okay? I'm going to go a little bit bigger, all right? So we are gone a little bit past the midpoint. Now what we do with our pin at B or A, whichever you want to start with, we're going to make a small arc at the top and a small arc at the bottom. Well, that one's kind of big, but an arc at the bottom, okay? Without changing our compass, we're going to switch over to point A. We'll put our pin in, and then we come up here and we make an arc at the top, and we come down here and we make an arc at the bottom. Okay, again, we have our X's. If we put a dot in each one and use our straight edge, we will have bisected our original arc into 2 even pieces. Okay, this is the midpoint of AB. All right, let's try it again on this smaller arc down here, CD. So I don't need my compass this large. Remember, we just want to go slightly larger than what the midpoint would or should be. I'm going to start at point C and stick my pin in. Then we make an arc at the bottom and an arc at the top. If you feel more comfortable making a full, like half circle arc, you can do that. It just starts to get a little cluttered if you do that. So just make sure you remember where you began and what you're trying to accomplish, all right? Now, without changing my compass, I'm going down to point D, and I'm going to put my pin in, and I'm going to make an arc at the top and an arc on the bottom. Now, if you look at the top, I didn't hit the arc that I originally put in for C. So, no big deal. I'm going to go back to C, put my pin in again, and extend my arc. Because I haven't changed my compass, it should flow nicely. And now I have my 2 X's. I put a dot in and a dot in with my straight edge. If I don't want to draw a full line because I just want the midpoint, you can just mark it there. And we've successfully bisected arc CD. And that is construction 5.